Here we go, and it's flying and flying and flying and flying, and it's still flying, and it's gone miles, look at that! What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Speed Without Engine, the place where fast-paced action meets pure fun. Get ready for some sick designs, crazy... This is as big as you can go. With regard to the dimensions, you can't go bigger. And they're getting a fair bit of speed, and then over they go, and Laura's going to stick with it. We've seen so far 60 feet the furthest. Almost there, 54, but there we see, really smooth into the water. She was able to hold it right to the end and even landed on her feet, which was great. Not much. So let's see whether a Delorean flies like they hope it will. Off they go, not very quick at all, but they're going okay. And that's not a bad distance, is it? We've seen a lot plunge into the river before that. Let's have a look at how far they've got. 84 to beat, 63. That's the second furthest that we've seen so far. And that's a pretty good run. Let's see what they get in terms of the performance score as well. It was decent, that, without the speed at the beginning. Had they got a bit more speed before they got to the end of the ramp? All of these are from Oregon, Salem in Oregon, and off they go towards the end of the runway. And they've made a decent start. They're travelling a decent distance as well, and they're still going. And that looked long, didn't it? That's as good as we've seen so far. It's all about the distance. 60 feet to beat. They've blown that away. 84 feet, I Dream of Jeannie, blast into the lead. Just thought for a moment that it was going to go into the water, but he keeps it going, gets it back up again. And drive on a racetrack, so let's see how the flying bed does. Off go HYGGEPATRULJEN. Well, it's not too bad, that's okay. Nice separation from the wheels at the bottom. 13 metres the target, seen so far today. And you can just see a bit of air getting underneath that flat bottom of the Flugtag, which carried in that little extra distance and got them level in terms of distance of flight. That was the view on board. So there it is. Looks the part, doesn't it? So can they get some speed on the ramp and give themselves an opportunity, or might the ketchup and mustard weigh him down? Well, over they go. It's not too bad at all. They're pleased, and rightly so. They've got to beat 13 metres. And they're edging towards it. Oh, they didn't quite do it, metre short. There we see it. Landed very quickly, didn't it? But was nice and flat. He's even got time to showboat a little bit on the way down. Okay at the moment, but it does limit how quickly they can get it moving, because if they go too fast, he'll fall off before he gets to the end. Here they go then towards the end of the runway, and down he goes! And he couldn't quite get it moving forward. Enough, I don't think. 17 metres to beat. And they managed a grand total of 13. To bid farewell to any chance of winning the competition today. But at least this time they've come out of it in one piece and relatively unscathed. Let's see what the judges made. I might not go in a helicopter for a little while. Anyway, here we go. They're flying furious. It's flying quite nicely at the start, so that's as good a run as we've seen. Even to the naked eye, that was a good flight. The furthest one so far, 13 metres. They expect a decent performance score as well because of the creativity angle, etc. There you see, look, the minute you touch the water, that's where you get measured to. So he's trying to keep his feet in the air for as long as he could. And that was a good run, that, from Flying Furious. Let's have a look at the scores. And he's crouching on the top there, hoping for the right takeoff. And he gets the right takeoff, and it's going still, and it's good. And he got the release off the wings at the end, and he'll be happy with that. Let's have a look at the distance. 19.2. Well, he talked about 100 feet. He'll be very satisfied with that. He's looking to get off, look, waiting to go. Good balance, actually, from Adam Horton there. And the dismount at the end, which won't get him any more points. But it was a good flight by Kentucky Power. And that pre-flight confidence that we saw from him a couple of days ago. So they've had to rebuild it and get it ready for today, which has not been easy for them. There's the General Lee towards the end of the ramp, and it's off and it's going. Oh, it's really good as well, isn't it? It's really good. Just when it looked as though it was going to plunge down into the Ohio River, it went again. 24 metres, which is 81 feet, which is the best we've seen so far today in Louisville today. Looks like the flight's going to end there, and then it just gets that little extra push again, look, towards the end, which eked out a few more metres. And very, very smooth, very, very controlled. The look on his face told you that he was a little bit nervous as he left the ramp, but he pulled it together. Jeremiah is the pilot. He's got his game face on. Off we go towards the end of the ramp, and there's the release, and it's looking good. It's looking really good. It was a really good flight. Well, they might have looked like a group not to mess with, but they got 22 metres from their plane. The further it goes, and look at that one. It's on a nice trajectory, all the way down. 75 feet, if you want it in old money, and then we see the craft break. Don't quite know what he's reaching for there, whether he's just hanging on or not. There is the hang glider on the top, which is quite a popular way to build these particular vehicles. And here we go towards the end of the takeoff ramp. And there's the release, and there's the flight, and down we go. And there's the taste of Charles River water for the first team today. Something wonderful, 12.8 metres, and what we have here in Boston for this one. There we see the takeoff. And it just needed that little bit of a gust to give it that extra push at the start, and it tended to nosedive down. It's not too bad. And we'll see whether they can live up to it here in Boston today. Towards the end of the runway, that ramp, and on it goes, and on it goes, and that wasn't bad at all, was it? Nice and smooth from the takeoff to the landing, way past 12.8, 21.0 metres. Right, look how smooth it was, aerodynamically sound, did what it was supposed to do, and did it very well indeed. There you see it from side on. It never wavered in the air, just got the distance. Normal way of launching the plane off the ramp. Now there are the three guys pushing at the back, and then off we go, and it seems to move forward quite well, and that's a good flight. That's a decent distance, I think. 16.7, the furthest we've seen today. Simple, basic design, simple, basic launch procedure, and a decent flight in terms of distance as well. That's a good run, that, from ETV buddies. Thomas, the pilot, steering it forward, holding his nerve, keeping it straight and keeping it smooth, and that led to a decent distance here. Let's see how Red Barrow does. Looking to get some speed towards the end of the ramp. There we go, and it's flying and flying and flying, and it was nice and smooth. It looked a good one. Let's have a look at the distance. Well, it's the furthest we've seen today, 17 metres, 0.3 metres further than the previous best, and that was really nicely done by Red Barrow. Looked the part, very smooth, very well balanced. It never started to wobble, and it did exactly what it was supposed to do. The pilot there, Kevin. The final team set off towards the end of the ramp here in Hong Kong, and off they go. And it's flying, it's really good. Let's have a look at the distance. It's a brand new Asian record. Shoot Whimsy Rock wanted to break it. Well, the team straight after them, 345, Free for Fly, has done just that. Smooth and far and away, and just look at the launch and look at the flight. With the pilot, the steward's been round and said make sure the seats are in the upright position. That certainly applies here. Those little propellers on the front towards the end of the platform and away, and still going, and going a long, long way as well. 16.5 to beat. 23 metres. I said it was going to be a good competition. Flying Blacks have certainly set a mark there. And the concentration there on the pilot Luca's face. It's a very wide wingspan. Look at that. Not too much speed off the platform, but away we go, and it's flying and flying and flying and flying. And it went a long way, and I'm interested to see how far. 30 metres! The furthest we've seen by some distance today. And the wide wingspan really helping. Very, very good flight, rewarded by fantastic distance as well. Here we go then, last team of the day, off along the platform. There's the launch, and look at the height, and look how long he's staying up there, and it's still flying, and it's gone miles, look at that! It was heading towards Munich, which is on the other side of the lake. Sensational! I don't go that far on my holidays. 55.5 metres. Absolutely brilliant. At last, one of the favourites. Aye, aye, aye. There we go. Look at that. Soaring through the air. Still going. The drinks trolley was on the way round. That's how long they've been up there. Fantastic. Look at that. Get your duty free about now. Oh, that's gone on and on and on and on. Brilliant. Best flight we've seen all day long.
Meine Damen und Herren, ich weiss, ihr klatscht nicht gern, aber an dieser
Look
Stelle
at that.
55,5
Gliding through the air, so
Schweizer Rekord.
aerodynamically sound, brilliantly designed. And a lovely soft landing as well.